Hi, it's Over975 and welcome to Baldur's Gate and Nipsy does honor mode. And today the Wizard's Tower, there's not really, this is not going to be the longest of episodes because the Wizard's Tower is one of those annoying encounters. You don't have to fight anything as long as you get the dialogue options right. And trust me, you want to get the dialogue options right. If you don't want to get the dialogue options right and you want to fight everything, use the Sousa bark, the Sousa flower, the anti-magic, it's fine. It works very well at disabling the magical monsters in the top level. Just a tip. Yeah, go heavy on melee and use the Sousa plant. But ultimately, yeah, it's mostly just a loot up and solve 1-2 puzzles. Nothing too grandiose, nothing too massive. I decided to do this before going to the going across and meeting up with our horrible friends, the Drugar, because Nipsy's got strength 8. And if I give her a certain club that's here, it makes her way less likely to get pushed into the water. And I still did debate whether to do the fight with the Drugar on the way across to them. And I elected to pussy out. Because, yeah, that fight on the water is just... Somebody always gets pushed off, and you then lose your perma buffs that reset if you die. And I was like, I just don't want to lose them. They're too good. I don't want to lose them, especially a silly way like being pushed off a boat into water. Yeah, remembering what to say to this guy is life or death, and I'm not exaggerating. This guy really is quite nasty to fight, especially if you're unprepared for the fight. And in fact, ended my last honor mode run through because I accidentally said the wrong thing, and it started a fight. And I was completely unprepared for the fight because I had expected to win it and I hadn't taken precautions of what would happen if I failed it. So yeah, not a fight you want to have sprung on you if you're not expecting it, for sure. He's just properly nasty, especially in honor mode. The buffs they recently did with the additions. The giant strength, or the hill giant strength club, is a really useful item. Sets anyone's strength high, and that's really, like I say, really handy on a build like mine where I'm just going for stat pluses. I did have a bit of trouble because it's awkward to get out of his place, so I did throw it to a different location so it'd be easier to smash without risking hurting the armor, because I didn't want to start a fight in here, because the last thing you want is an accidental friendly smash on an enemy. But yeah, it's a useful stat stick, and because I'm not that interested in how much melee damage I do, it's actually a useful stat stick for me. And it also meant I got the mushrooms which I needed for this bit, which means then I unlock him as a vendor, which gets me the boots for Stormy Clamour and other items that are very useful. I will have to do that build video at some point where I go through the builds of my characters and why and the wherefores of what I've given them and why I've given it to them, because they're a bit oddly set up, but not too oddly set up. I think there is reason for everything I've done, and some of it makes sense. But yeah, these are not really cheesy overpowered builds, but they are useful builds. I think that's the way I'm doing it. I mean, the Hill Giant Strength Club pairs brilliantly with a Titan String Bow and a Stealth Archer build, but I'm not going down that route. If you are going down that route, Gloomstalker Assassin is the way to go, or Gloomstalker Rogue with the extra skill, the extra bonus action, because then you can bonus action Poison, bonus action Hide, and still then just sneak attack with a Titan String Bow, and that is really ridiculously abusive. And when you later get the Illithid powers, you can make that first hit an automatic crit, and use an arrow to target the many targets and just devastate things. It's ridiculously abusive. The Gloomstalker gets 3 attacks in the first round of combat at higher levels, and that's just ridiculous. It really sets the tone for most fights, because the Gloomstalker again usually gets the initiative or usually gets some sort of advantage or sneaking up on the enemy. So all in all, I feel that's a bit broken. So not much happened this episode. I did uncover a bit more about Shadowheart's past. This is a bit of an odd one where you just have to already pass one religion check to see if you spot something. Yeah, not my highest skill, it's got to be said. But unlocking Shadowheart's memories and moving along her storyline, I still don't think I'm going to romance her this run through. I've done the romance with her, and it's it's not that interesting a one. I actually really like the Karlach storyline, was quite sweet. But the Lizelle and Karlach one are my favourite 2 romances so far. I've still not done any of the guys. I might at some point do a playthrough where I do that. I don't know, but yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, Gale's is. I just can't take being someone's silver. That's just wrong. Playing second fiddle with Mistra. Will's just annoying, and Astarion. Well, that's going to be a toxic relationship, I think. So yeah, I must admit I really do enjoy the backstories of the characters, the way they fleshed out each one of the characters and gave them this incredible rich backstory, and the dialogue they gave the characters, and the way it comes out, and the way you unlock the storyline for each of them through key moments as you move through the campaign. It makes for a compelling storyline, which is what Baldur's Gate 3 has done so well. And even at this point where I've played through it loads of different ways, loads of different times, I've got so many more ways to play through it. I haven't done any Origin playthroughs with the Origin characters. I still haven't completed a Dark Urge playthrough. I always get to a certain point, give up and start again. And now with the big drop they've got coming out in January with some ridiculous number of subclasses they're adding to the game, and some ridiculous amount of stuff they're dropping, and with the constant drop of mods, I can't see me losing interest in this game for a long time. And even if I do lose interest for a while, take a 6-month break and come back to it, and you're going to find loads of little stuff you want to try and do. There is I wish I had that Ease of Life mod where when you cast Longstrider it affects everyone within 15 foot and lasts for a day. That would be way easier, but I don't, so I have to do a traditional way of walking up to everyone that isn't stood easily in a circle. But yeah, so this was a relaxing day of just solving puzzles, not going too mad, and then making my way to the Dwarf Fortress and turning down the optional fight on the way. There is some good loot to be got from that fight, but it really ultimately isn't worth getting pushed in the water and killed, because it's the most annoying death in the game, is just getting pushed in the water and killed. I think that's one of the more annoying ways to get killed. I've got to say, the graphics as you approach the Dwarven Fortress and stuff like that are just beautiful. Being in the Underdark is just one of those amazing places to be. It's one of the themier settings and one of the classic places to be in Forgotten Realms. Spending time in the Underdark. We've been in the Underdark quite a bit in the D&D campaign we've been in. Not a massive amount, but just a bit towards the end, and it was one of the more memorable parts of the campaign, is dipping in and out of the Underdark, bumping into some drow. But anyway, that's all for this video, as I bottle this fight with them and continue merrily on my journey. I did think about it, but I decided not to. Anyway, that's all. Thank you very much for watching. It's lucky I got persuasion skill and get around these things.